Thank you so much. All right. So welcome everyone who is now attending the California Top Tier Private University panel of the Transfer Student Panel Series by College Leap. My name is Athénaïs Mortier. I'm an international student from France studying business administration and management at Foothill College and the project department associate manager at College Leap. This series of student panel for transfer students is an online webinar series uh, held to bridge the information gaps between community college students and four-year institutions. As you bear with me, let me introduce College Leap in greater detail. So College Leap is a nonprofit organization aiming to empower community college and transfer students, especially internationals, by providing leadership, mentorship, internship, and volunteer opportunities, and by building many programs and projects. You can find more information about our projects and events on our website, collegeleap.cc. You can also apply to become a chapter leader at College Leap, and you can find everything that you need on the website. You can also start your own chapter if not already existing in your own college. If you're interested in doing so, you can learn more about the application process on the website as well. Now back to TSPS. This is a program under a transfer console at College Leap to fill in the information gap between community colleges and four-year institutions. This full series is free and open to all community college students. There will be many other panels until the end of February 2021. The next planned session is the University of Washington, University of Virginia, and University of Michigan on Saturday, January 9th at 7:30 p.m. The goal is to cover about 27 universities, private universities, and out of states, and Ivy Leagues. You will find all the information you need on our website regarding upcoming panels under the transfer panel section, which will be updated as time goes on. The sessions are all recorded and posted on our webpage, so if you missed any session, you can always find a written summary of it and a link to the recording on our website as well. Before starting today's panel, I would like to add a disclaimer. The information shared on TSPS only represents panelists' personal opinions and should not be dependent solely on to make any decision. College Leap is not in any way responsible for the information shared in TSPS. You should always consult your college advisors before making any changes. Today's panelists will share their experience at their current universities, their transfer experiences and tips, as well as their community college educational journey and extracurricular suggestions. At the end of the session, you will have the opportunity to unmute yourself and ask the panelists questions. Now, without further ado, I would let our panelists introduce themselves and start this top tier private university panel. Thank you, everyone. All right, Erin, if you want to start first.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Hello, everyone. I j- uh, I started to take course at Pasadena City College in 2006. Just after I moved to the States with my family, to Pasadena, California, and then after 2 years, I transferred to Caltech as a chemical engineer, and my major uh, at Caltech was chemical engineering in biomolecular track. And I spent 3 years at Caltech to finish my bachelor degree requirements. After that, I applied for PhD programs and got accepted by Princeton and MIT. I went to MIT for my PhD program, and so after 5 years, I got my PhD in chemical engineering at MIT, and now I work for Amgen, a pharmaceutical company, as a senior engineer.
All right. Thank you, Erin. That's impressive. All right. Sarah, if you go up next, please. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, my name is Sarah. I grew up in the Bay Area and I started at Laney College in January 2018. You have to like think back about the times. And then this fall, I transferred to Stanford University and I just completed my first quarter there. And I'm probably going to be a chemistry major.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So Angelina and Michelle, if you want to go ahead.
Hi everyone, I'm Angelina. I'm from Los Angeles, and I'm currently study double major in accounting and business administration at USC. And I transferred from Pasadena City College, and I'm the local student.
All right. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Rochelle. I'm an international student from Hong Kong. I transferred from East Los Angeles College to USC, majoring in business administration. I'm a senior student, so I'll be graduating in spring 2021.
Awesome, thank you. All right. And last but not least, Ariana.
Hi, I'm gonna hopefully figure out Wi-Fi. But my name is Ariana. I'm the same year as Sarah. We're in the same transfer cohort at Stanford. I transferred from the College of San Mateo. What else are we saying? I'm a political science major, and I'm not an international student, but I have helped quite a few international students, so I can answer questions related to that if needed. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. All right, thank you everyone. So our first question will be about the transfer experience that you've had. Our first question would be, what do you think made you stand out from the applicants where you were applying as a transfer student? So was it extracurricular, anything in that sense? So I think we're going to start with Erin, if you want to go ahead.
Caltech has a transfer exam back then. I don't know if they still the school still has it now. So I think I passed the exam in math and physics at okay scores. So I think that's one of the main reasons I got admitted to Caltech. I mean, at the same year, I also got accepted by UC Berkeley, UCLA, and UC San Diego. I actually got a scholarship, some kind of scholarship from UCLA. I think those really come from the fact that I have 4.0 at Pasadena City College, and I was also working as a tutor. So worked as a tutor for 2 years at Mesa at PCC, and I think that experience makes I enjoyed the job a lot, and this particular job, which helps students who are underrepresented represented in math and science, looks good on the resume. So I think it's a combination of both. I think, but to be honest with you, I think with Caltech, it's really you need to one needs to pass the exam in math and physics.
I see. So the exam you mentioned, how did you prepare for it? Was there anything you had to do in particular?
I mean, I had pretty good professors in calculus and physics at Caltech. That's at Pasadena City College. That's one of the things I really like about community college. The class is quite small. If the instructors are overall nice, and they're not busy with research projects, so they really have time to answer your questions, really care about students, as far as my experience can tell. So I had pretty good training at Pasadena City College, and I kind of just went through before the exam, I just went through the material and had some notes, and tried to go through some problems on the textbooks, and that's about it.
Okay. What's the name of the exam you had to take?
It's really just a transfer exam.
Okay.
You need to find a sponsor to monitor you to take the exam, in a exam setting. Like you can't just take the exam home and spend countless hours on that.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So Sarah, if you want to answer the same question.
Yeah, I think that I had a lot of extracurriculars that made me stand out. I mean, obviously, to get to these schools, you need to have good stats, but there's so many people that have great stats, so you have to have a little bit more. I was a tutor at Mesa, like Erin, at my community college. I also was a TA for a biology class for 2 semesters. I did 2 research internships, which kind of showed that I was really interested in like being a scientist. I'm a chemist, so doing those types of internships can be like show that you've demonstrated interest and you really want to do your track. I also just kept busy in a lot of other ways. So I definitely did a lot of STEM related things, but I was also like a writing tutor. And I did also a committee thing where I worked on developing course plans for community college students, and I did some advocacy work as well. So I think I had a very diverse portfolio. I am not an international student. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Okay, on to Angelina and Michelle. You guys are still muted.
Hi, so I guess I'll go first. I think besides of having a very high GPA, very competitive GPA to apply to transfer, another thing that I'm really focusing in back then in community college is leadership experience. I was the first ever international student being the student body president of my community college, and I also involved in a state level of leadership for being the system affairs director for the Student Senate of California Community Colleges. So I have a lot of advocacy work in the California, for whole California community college level. And also I do a lot of community service. I'm being the campaign manager for the city council. So I guess those leadership experience definitely helped me to stand out in my application.
Thank you.
Okay, so for me, I think it's my work experiences because I don't have lots of the leadership experiences, but I do have like one part-time job is about the accounting assistant, which I work with a lot of accountants to do a lot of projects which related to my major. So I guess that they plays a lot of big factor for me, which like makes me stand out.
Thank you. For the people putting questions in the chat, don't worry, we're going to answer them during the Q&A session during the last 30 minutes. So if your question has been unanswered, no worries. It will be at some point. Thank you. All right, Ariana, for the same question. Let me know if you need me to repeat it.
Okay. Oh, I'm good. But echoing what everyone said, ultimately your stats are important, but you can find stats for any school on their website, even for transfers. So I don't think that's something that set me apart. I think what did start, like everyone else said, was just what I did to keep myself busy beyond academics. Me personally, poli sci, I worked on 2 campaigns by the time I had applied. Well, I did lots of things like leadership, student government, honors. That's how I did research. If you guys are asking how to find research, my college had opportunities to do honors projects, which were like little research projects in and of themselves. But I think going what Sarah said, like some of it was poli-sci and some of it was just other stuff I was interested in. And I think showing that kind of diversity and that you are this like 3D human being is really important, because they do look, at least at Stanford, they look at your application really cumulatively. So I think it was all of those factors. And also I believe my letters of rec kind of pushed me over because I was pretty strategic about the I asked, and that's also what they mentioned when they sent like a follow-up email, because they send you emails about like, oh, this is like something we noticed, and they talked a lot about my letters of rec. So I think if anything, that also helped.
Thank you. All right, those are definitely very helpful, I think. All right, on to our next question then. What are the courses you think are very valuable to you and to your transfer result? And maybe also like as an individual, and why? So we're gonna start with Sarah.
Yeah, I took a lot of amazing courses. So I'll just select a few that really stuck out to me. One was this class, it's called Bio and Bee. It's like General Bio 2. It's just like about like plants and animals. And I was not excited to take that class. That wasn't really the type of science that I liked. And I just needed to take it to fulfill a requirement. But it actually ended up being an amazing class. It was a hard class. There was a lot of high demand. So I had to learn how to get better study strategies and get better at like scientific writing. But also on a personal level, that's where I made some of my best friends. And those are so important to getting you through this path. You need people who you can study with, who can hype you up when you're feeling down. And so that class ended up being really memorable for me. Also, that professor recommended me for a TA-ship. So then that also like helped with my transfer application. Another one that stuck out is my English 1B class. It was just a writing class that I needed to take to transfer. But I really became a much better writer, which is super important because your ability to write good essays is what's going to get you into internships and scholarships in colleges. So even as a STEM person, I think it's incredibly important that you know how to write. And then that also, I was able to get a writing tutoring job from that professor's recommendation. And I think the last one I'll list was my OChem class because I really loved it. I had an incredible professor and I knew I wanted to study chemistry like after taking that class.
Thank you so much. All right. So on to Angelina and Michelle.
First of all, I would say I didn't take a lot of courses from ELAC because USC have a very strict like units transfer. The maximum is 64 units. So I only took 62 units, but I think one very valuable course that I took is the Intro to Business class. So I think not only the knowledge side, but because I picked a very good professor who is also from USC. So actually he helped me a lot with the whole transfer process. Even until now, he's still my mentor. Like a lot of questions I have, not only about academic, but also like planning for career or even doing my startup. So I think that it's the courses that I think is the most valuable because I met the professor, which helped me a lot in the whole process. Yeah.
For me, I think definitely the major courses because I took the accounting 1A and 1B, which prepares me for the intro courses, intro accounting courses at USC. So I have like better understanding about like the concept of accounting and business.
I think I'm next. Okay. I don't think there were really particular courses that helped my transferring specifically, but things that helped me, I took an international relations course, and then I also did an honors seminar for that course. And that really helped me figure out kind of what I liked within political science. I think also getting to do honors research on any course that you take helps. I had an honors research project in chemistry, which also showed me that I didn't want to be going into chemistry. So I think being able to kind of take a class and then delve into it more deeply was really amazing. Yeah, I mean, I think just all of my major courses really helped me, and I also started as pre-med, so that semester where I took major courses that I really didn't like also helped me figure out what I didn't want to do. I think that would be my answer.
I think you're muted.
Thank you. So yeah, community college is very important, I feel like, because some classes you thought you would really like them for your major, and then you take them and you end up realizing that that's not really for you, and something else you like it way more, and that way you can really focus on what's best for you. So definitely. All right. Last but not least, Erin.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I really liked the entire year of organic chemistry course I took at Pasadena City College. It had lab, and I had a really good professor. I learned a lot about synthesis. I think I learned much more than my classmates at Caltech, because these my classmates, they took classes from like professors whose majority of the majority time of whom goes to research. So so I think that like I got a lot of more interaction time with faculty at Pasadena City College. I learned a lot, learned in detail. I still remember a lot of the organic chemistry that I learned at community college. It also saved me quite significant amount of time when I transferred to Caltech. So what happens is that when I transferred to Caltech, all the courses I took were evaluated by the faculties, and then the faculties who teach the corresponding courses will determine whether the credits are accepted or not. So, for example, none of my English courses was accepted, so I have to retake the entire humanity course, like all the humanity course requirements. Basically, that's why I spent 3 years instead of 2 years at Caltech. But my organic chemistry class course, the entire year was taken, because when the instructor looked over the course material and the lab notebook and the old textbook, he thought it's good enough for to satisfy the Caltech requirement. So I got really lucky to get the credits, and I did not need to spend a year studying organic chemistry, which is a lot of time saved and also a lot of stress reduced, because taking courses at Caltech is stressful. Yeah.
I bet. That makes total sense. All right. I'm thinking you mentioned some of them already, but I was wondering, please name a couple of community college experiences that you've had and that you feel were the most important to you as a transfer student, but mostly as an individual, like leadership, internship, volunteering experience, those type of things. So we're gonna start with Angelina and Michelle. If you want to go ahead and answer this.
I would say as the decision of trying to run to be the student body president at ELAC, I think it is a very unique experience because no one have done that before. So I don't have any past experience or like any tips from anyone. So, and I'm trying to compete with like 4 other local students that already have bond their network with different students. So I have to like really campaign and talk to a lot of students and professors. It definitely helped me to build up my communication skills. Even when I transferred to USC, I'm very outgoing. I'm not afraid to meet with new people and the way that you can talk to people and how you communicate. And secondly, because when I was the student body president, I was only 18 years old. So I have to manage a group of students that are with a large age range variety, and I'm the only international student. Well, let's say I'm the only Asian in the whole student government. So it's kind of hard at that time, being that young age, just finished my high school in Hong Kong and came to the US and tried to adopt the whole culture and the way of working style. That definitely helped me to build up my leadership skills and how to manage everything, and also time management. That's very important when you go to a 4-year university, because you will feel like everything is so packed, everyone is so competitive, everyone know their goals, and everyone has already have a path in their mind, like which way to go, what they need to do. So I think that really helps me to prepare me to be a better individual and also doing better in academically and build up my communication and leadership skills.
I see. That's very impressive.
So for me to prepare better as individual, I guess it's all about my work experiences, because I don't have a lot of the leadership experiences. So basically I just like go to work and then afterward I go to class. So I think it's because the workflow is really like related to my major. That's why it helped me better as an individual. Also, I only have like a few of the volunteer experiences, so it's not quite a lot. But I think mostly for me is about my job experiences, because which is related to my accounting major. So I can like work with lots of accountants and get a lot of the business and accounting experiences.
I see. Thank you. All right, Ariana.
I think I can definitely echo student government helped me really grow in terms of like extroversion and learning how to talk to other students, learning how to advocate for other students. But I think the kind of thing that put me over, like really changed who I was an internship I did in San Francisco with Chase Abudin. Props if anyone knows who that is. But it was crazy to work in San Francisco in politics and like deal with the people who live in San Francisco. It really builds your character. They're not very nice, but I think like learning from those people, getting to work with Chase as well, learning about his experiences at Yale, like all of that made me feel confident enough to even apply to private schools, if that makes sense. Like I really never thought that that was something I could do, but kind of getting to one-on-one, like do so many things I never thought that I could do through that internship really helped me. And that kind of gives me the confidence every time I apply for something else. And I also kind of created that internship for myself. Like I found it on my own and I began as a volunteer and built that. So I think that experience taught me a lot beyond just looking nice on my application. But yeah, all of the extracurriculars that built who I was as a person more than the extracurriculars that looked good, I think, are what I would kind of lean towards. So that internship and student government.
I see. Definitely. The more you're passionate about the internship or like the extracurriculars you do, the more it's gonna build you as a person and bring you more into your life and like your experience as well. Thank you. Okay, Aaron. I'm trying to keep,
Oh,
person.
yes, yes. Mm, actually, I want to say something a little bit not related to the STEM field um, that I've been in for many years. I think the experience I actually appreciate the most is working at the same time as taking full-time courses, do full-time schooling because I need to support my family. When I moved to to Pasadena with my family, my parents have retired, so back then it's very it's difficult to bring a significant amount of cash with us, so I worked quite a bit to support my family such that we have food and shelter. And the second thing I think the second experience I think is equally important is my tutoring job at Mesa. I think that experience really uh, enabled me to interact with people who are from outside the academic bubbles. Um, because like MIT, Caltech, all these tech schools, especially the tech schools, they're giant bubbles that like people are nice, everything seemed to go well, and like not much difficulties in real life will get into the bubble. I think, however, I got early experience working as a tutor at Mesa because I tutor some of students who were soldiers at in Iraq, who lost their friends in Afghanistan, and who came from who were immigrants from Colombia, Venezuela, and when I talked to them, I had a very different view of what other people's life were like, and what um, like a different. I start to appreciate the different experience of different people, and I think from that I start to be more aware of what's going on in the real world, and also I think that kind of put seeds in my brain uh, to grow compassion and sympathy towards people who are not uh, as fortunate. And I think even now, like I'm working for a pharmaceutical company, and our goal is to serve patients first, and it's something I hold very dear to my heart, because I think it's something that's what I value, to help people, to help people who are in difficult situations.
I see. Thank you. Thanks so much. All right. And last but not least, Sarah.
Yeah, you guys have all shared some really great extracurriculars. For me, so I did do 2 summer internships that were great, told me I love research, really loved them, got a lot of things. But working at Target was really, really beneficial for me. I worked at Target for 3 years. I was a cashier and eventually moved to the guest service desk. But there's where I developed the soft skills that make it so that you can do these cool things. I learned how to interact with others. I learned how to have time management. I worked a lot and I was also taking full-time classes. I learned how to advocate for myself and work with people who maybe I don't get along with. I also learned how to like hold conversations with people that I don't know, because since I was in like a front facing view, I talked to like 100 people every day. And I had to make conversation with them, which is a super useful skill. So one thing I want to like emphasize is it's really great to do the things that are in your major, but sometimes you have to go work at Starbucks because you need money, and that is also helpful, and talk about them in your essays and talk about how that changed you. Another thing that really helped me was tutoring. I really enjoyed it because I was constantly like reviewing on like the foundational material. So then when I got into like the harder, higher classes, that old material was still pretty fresh in my mind. So I think it helped me maintain good grades. And then another one that really helped me, it's called Guided Pathways. It's something you guys will probably hear about at your community colleges in California, but they're trying to do like course plans so that people can transfer quicker and the process is a little bit clearer. And I was on a team where we were like making the course plans for majors at my college. And I agreed to do it because they were giving out free food. And so I did it, but it actually ended up being a really incredible experience. I got a super strong letter of recommendation that really helped my application. So again, doing those things that are kind of outside of your major or you maybe didn't think that you wanted to do can be super, super helpful.
Definitely. I feel like some people don't really want to share about their experiences that were, at Starbucks or Target or stuff like that. But it's always worth it. You always learn something from it, and you should own it completely because it changes you as a person and for the better. All right, thank you. I wanted to ask everyone, what is your biggest piece of advice for succeeding in the application process for your current university? So we are going to start with Ariana.
For the application process, I mean, I have interviewed so many people, and the biggest piece of advice you will get is to be authentic and be vulnerable. Because, like, I think it was mentioned before, but basically all of the applications being sent into these amazing schools are going to have insane extracurriculars and great GPAs and great SAT scores or ACT scores. So it really comes down to like how you can best present yourself and how you can really like do that in a way that sounds and is sincere. And I think that like the best advice I can give in order to achieve that is to think to yourself, like, what has driven you to do all of these things and what is driving you to apply to that school. And if you don't know why you're applying to that school, if you're applying to Caltech or USC or Stanford because they are Caltech, USC, or Stanford, and that's it, it's not going to be a good application. But if you can really delve deeper and figure out what it is that's driving you, you might even take some of those schools off your list, and the schools you do apply to really will be like so much easier to apply for. And so I think that's the best I can say. But I know that it's a hard process, and for those of you going through it, just keep doing it. It will be over soon.
Thank you. All right, Aaron.
Okay. I guess um the to pass the to I hate to say this to bring up the same point, but I really think pass those 2 exams is probably the most critical component. I mean, I think I forgot to mention some important points. I think so. One of the recommendation letters was written by a was written by a professor who was alum of Caltech. I think that's quite important. He got his PhD from Caltech, so I think that might help. And also because I do have friends who are from just like a side note. Like I know friends who I have friends who are from who graduated from Stanford universities, and sometimes as alum, their responsibilities is to interview prospective students. So I don't know if applies to transfer process as well, but I know like the feedback from alum is also quite important, at least for freshman applicants. So that's just a side note. But for me, I think of course passing the exam is important. I think having the recommendation from alum is also important. I think I put a lot of thoughts into my personal essay. I really express my enthusiasm in chemical engineering, physics, in math, and I try to demonstrate it. I try to demonstrate what I wrote in personal statement with my grades, with the jobs I did as a STEM tutors, as a STEM tutor, and also I think both of my recommendation letters were pretty strong because I had a lot of interactions with the professors who wrote who wrote the recommendation letters. So yeah, that's it from me.
Thank you. Okay, Sarah.
Yeah, I have 2 tips. So the first one's a practical tip, which is you cannot edit your personal statement in your head. So you have to write that bad first draft. You just got to get it out and then try to work from there. And sometimes you write a bad first draft and it's so bad, you have to rewrite the entire essay. We all do that. Don't feel bad about it. Editing and rewriting and then sharing with your peers and your professors and getting feedback. That's the process. We all do it. We all have the 12 drafts in our folders. On a more high level tip, I guess I would say, don't hesitate to ask questions of your peers who are one step ahead of you, your professors, your mentors, your college staff. You know, if you have a question about applying, ask them and give them time to go find an answer. You asking questions is a sign of strength, not of weakness. So I think just making sure you're asking questions and advocating for yourself is incredibly important in the entire process.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, so we have Angelina and Michelle.
I would say I'll have 2 tips as well. So the first one will be the recommendation letter. So I did prepare to find a Trojan to write the recommendation for applying to USC. And I got one from my business professor and another one is from the president of my community college. So I guess both are really strong recommendation letter, both from a professor that knows me very well and my career goal and everything. And from the president that can actually demonstrate like my leadership skills and communication skills. And another tip I would give to current community college students is to be creative on your application because like they received a lot of applications. So actually they probably will not use more than 10 minutes on your application of reading your personal statement. So writing it very creative, make it more appealing, storytelling style might be a very good way for your application.
Okay, I also have 2 tips as well. First is the personal statement. You have to like show how you really passionate about this school and about your major, what you want to study, and also how you want to get, how would you want to gain from this school, but not what the school wants to get from you. That is really important. And second one is to get your GPA like as high as possible, and try to just get GPA as high as possible and join like a lot of the leadership, like organization and participate in any like community services, no matter how small it is. Like the school wants to see how you really passionate about the work you did, and like how you can like be patient about it. I think those are really two good tips for you guys.
Thank you. This is definitely very useful for everyone in the process right now, including myself. All right. Our next question is about the current experience that you have at your university right now. So USC, Caltech, or Stanford. It would be, how was your experience at your current university, obviously, and did you notice a large cultural shift when you transferred? So I'm going to start with Aaron.
How many minutes do I have?
Um,
I have a lot of experience since I'm a little bit older than you guys, very
Well,
likely. So I also plus the PhD experience. I can tell you a lot about the differences. So let's. So I will try to make things brief. So when I transferred to Caltech, I was obviously overwhelmed. Well, uh, my classmates were very competitive, and they also work really hard, and they're intelligent. I remember one of the classmates that I admired most. His name is Brian Lawrence, and he won like the medal of international math competition when he was a first year student at high school, and he worked really hard. He knows 3 languages, and he doesn't use social media unlike me. And I was like overwhelmed, and the people work really hard and discuss about math and physics and all these nerdy questions on how's the email, how dormitory email list. So overwhelmed, of course. And in particular to chemical engineering course major, it's the most challenging course at Caltech because it has the highest credit requirement at Caltech. The major is the one has the highest requirements for the course credits, and also so basically I remember every quarter I was overloading my course schedule with so uh, I remember I was working really really hard, and it's quarter, so each quarter is short, so uh, it uh, the final exam midterms came by really fast. And also I was one thing is that a lot of courses are curved, so I really have to be the number 1 or number 2 student in the course to get an A. And but the despite the competitiveness of all the courses or uh, the students, I learned a lot. I think first of all, I worked really really hard, and second, I learned from my classmates, intelligent, hardworking, um, don't use social media. Great, I admire those people. And third is that I think of probably most important thing is uh, I have some of the best professors in the chemical engineering industry. One of my course instructors is one of the recent female recipient of Nobel Prize. So the being in that building, seeing how they are working is impressive to me. It's you just see those people, they are already well established in the field, yet they work really hard. Especially this Nobel Prize winner, she when I joined the school, I learned that she just recovered from breast cancer, and she worked really hard. You can tell like she's just around the lab, very involved in research. So I really I'm really glad. I'm really glad that I had that kind of experience at Caltech. I think as an undergrad, to be honest with you, is if I have children and they want to be a being research area, I will encourage them to go to Caltech, to apply to Caltech undergrad. It's very good environment. However, there is challenge. I think the challenge now is more and more talked about. It's the mental health challenge under extreme stress and pressure, because especially the peer pressure is so high that I think a lot. I know people who are under a lot of stress, who are depressed, myself included, and I also know a couple of my classmates actually committed suicide during my time there. So I did had an early exposure of the mental health issue at Caltech when it was less talked about. I think now it's more and more talked about. I think I would just spend maybe one more minute talking briefly talk about my experience as a PhD. So at MIT much bigger school, and MIT also has business school, and it's in Boston, so it has a lot of connection with Harvard, with Boston University, with other schools. So at MIT, I have met a variety of people, from people who want to do startups, from to people who are really into theoretical physics. So MIT is a much bigger school than Caltech, and doing research at MIT is something I really enjoyed, even though, again, peer pressure, very stressful. When you, I remember I was so overwhelmed because some of my friends just keep publishing top journal papers and top conference papers, and at, under those peer pressure, sometimes I have some self-doubt. But I would say after surviving all the pressure, having survived all the pressure and the competitions, I think overall I have become a better person and more resilient. Yeah, so there are more. There are more I can talk about, but I just want to keep it brief.
Thank you. If there is one point that you feel is interesting and we still have some time during the Q&A, you're free to share at that point. Thank you, Erin. Okay, Sarah.
I'll do the disclaimer. I just finished my first quarter post-transfer, so I maybe don't have a ton of experiences, but so far it hasn't been super culture shocking. A lot of people told me pre-transfer, like, when you transfer to the big leagues, like, it's really intense and you're going to be really, really challenged. But I didn't have that experience. I felt like it was within my reach to do well in my first quarter, and that happened. So, if you were really doing your time management and you were working hard at your community college, don't get too psyched out that you can't do it. Like, it could be a pretty smooth transition for you. With that said, the courses are challenging. They are difficult. It's a competitive field because there's like a lot of students who want to do really, really well. But work hard and keep your time management up. The thing that was surprising to me is the amount of resources at Stanford. Like at your community college, like, I don't know, mine, there like wasn't a ton of things to do. And there just wasn't like a lot of money or opportunities. At Stanford, like, there's something for everything and there's never a lack of money. Like, nothing's ever not done because of money. It's insane. And there's a club for everything. So that's been pretty culture shocking. But otherwise, the academics I felt like are pretty similar to the rigor of my classes. And actually some of my classes were a little bit more rigorous in my opinion than Stanford, but we'll see. First quarter, ask me in a year.
Thank you. All right, Angelina and Michelle.
I would say at the beginning, it's really overwhelming because USC have their career fair at the second week of school. So when I just transferred to USC, I was still figuring out where the building was. Everyone is already like wearing super formal suits and getting ready to talk to professionals. So that was really overwhelming and made me feel very pressured at the beginning. But right now, I feel like you'll get used to that environment that everyone is so competitive. Everyone knows what they want to do. And another thing that really surprised me that I don't see it community college. As business students at community college, they might just take those core like accounting business courses, just trying to finish the course and not changing everything to practical to use it. But at USC, you can see a lot of students that are current student. They are very entrepreneurial. They're trying to help have startups, doing different kind of business, trying to like bring what they learned into a practical way to actually use and utilize all the resources that USC have.
So for me, I think like USC is different from the community college. It's like the school is a lot of the work that like back then CC, and then but you also have to like manage your schoolwork, like also manage your networking, because USC has a lot of the networking opportunities. They provide lots of like resources, and plus you have a lot of the clubs and organization prepared for your career. So for me, I have to like at least like 2 career talks. For me, I have to like join the Trojan talk because I'm accounting and business major. So I do have the accounting career fair, but also the business career fair. So like the recruiting process definitely like stressful for me. And also USC is different from CC because USC is like really it's like a big family. Like everybody is really like get together. Plus, also all the teamwork experiences is really good, and the class is different from CC because we have a lot of projects. You have to like work with your teammate a lot of time, so you will get to know each other and interact with them. I think, yeah, that's the difference between USC and CC.
Thank you. All right, Ariana.
Yes, obviously, Sarah and I are experiencing similar things to everything she said. I agree with 100%. There is literally so much opportunity. But I do agree that I did feel prepared. Like I definitely was. You get overwhelmed. Like I had a class and found out one girl in my class was an Olympic gymnast, and like these random things, and you're like, what am I doing here? But you are there for a reason. And I think there is definitely, like Erin was saying, like mental health is an issue. Imposter syndrome is a thing. But I think that one of the best things that I've done is to really just not try and like fall into that trap. And the best advice I got for that as well was just to like be curious about your classmates, not envious of them. So that has kind of been my mindset. I think something else worth mentioning is that I decided to take a 3-year route, and I've noticed that that's very common with transfers to Stanford because, like, unlike USC, we don't have articulation agreements. And like which is not fair because my friends at USC all got like whatever. But basically, I have to take a lot of classes, and allowing myself to kind of take 3 years instead of the 2 that I wanted to has actually helped a lot, meaning and like given me the opportunity to take more classes that I want to take and not just have to take like a ton of classes to fulfill major requirements. And also when you go to any of these schools, like it's so cool to be able to take classes with professors who are like in the White House or like working for these, and like, I don't know, that's my perspective, as Polly said, that they've done so much. And I think that it's kind of cool to be able to do that, but it's something that most people don't know before they apply or get in. So at least for Stanford, you're probably looking at 3 years if you transfer. So that was an interesting thing as well.
Yeah, I just want to mention that's one thing that's very different from the UC system, where you have like the agreements, you know exactly what courses you need to take, and you know your courses are going to be accepted. At private colleges, it's much more like, ooh, you know, we'll see what happens with it, Russian roulette. So that's something to keep in mind, you know, keep an open mind to 3 years. I'm doing 3 years, even though I had like 100 units. So it's just what it is.
Thank you. Yeah, that's definitely something we don't really know. Living community college, it's more of the UC system we're more familiar with. And then when it comes to private, even for class that you need to take to just transfer there, it's like very blurry. So definitely keeping an open mind is the best part. All right. So is there any on-campus organization you're involved with, or is there any you feel like is interesting to talk about in here? So I would start with Sarah.
Yeah, so I got involved with something that's called Cardinal Free Clinics. It's an organization that like does free clinic work for like underrepresented minorities, and we're just trying to connect them with resources. As a pre-med, it's great because I get clinical hours, but also like to help these underserved populations is something I'm really, really passionate about as a Black woman. So it's a win-win for me. Um, yeah, and then we're living in a pandemic, so that's like what I've gotten involved with.
That's very true. Especially since your first quarter, it might have been complicated to get to know everything that's happening. Okay, thank you, Sarah. Angelina and Michelle.
Um, since this is my last year, so I didn't actually involve like a lot of activities in school because I'm doing my own startup. But last year I did join the student government at USC, and I participate in the career leadership program. So another level of like leadership skills building. And I was also the ambassador for the international case competition at USC. So I guess those experience really it was really fun, but right now we're in a pandemic, so actually I didn't really join a lot of activities, and I guess that's not that fun right now to join any kinds of activities, and a lot of like different clubs, they might be stopped running. And yeah, so this year I'm more focusing in school and also my own startup.
That sounds interesting. Do you care to share a little bit about your startup?
Sure. So because of the pandemic, actually I started a startup in between a pandemic. It's a grocery platform, so running in LA. So we're also developing an app. So we're just going to do not only grocery, but a lot of like daily life services, such as renting a house, renting car, buying cars, different educational and community service, like a very all-rounded platform.
Awesome. All right. Let's hope it gets, it keeps going good. All right. Thank you. Angelina, go ahead.
For me, I do join one organization called Beta Alpha Psi. It's a accounting society. So basically, we just like recruiting with those professionals and then doing some volunteer as a requirement. But yeah, so you will have like more opportunity to interact with the professional in a big four firm. So which makes you more stand out. Like you can have higher chance to work, like to prepare your interview, I guess, and lots of like professional opportunities. So it helps you like more prepare to your career path.
I see. Thank you. All right. Aaron, I guess when you were still at Caltech.
Some activity. Yeah, oh yeah, sure. I do have activity that I'm still doing now. So I joined Tango Club at Caltech, and started dancing since year, I think, junior year. So I've been dancing for more than 10 years now. I'm a tango music DJ, and also both lead and follow. And yeah, it's satisfied my artistic need. And I mean, yeah, I didn't do much else outside school because I lived in a bubble. And research is very available, so it very within reach. So I had research job all throughout the years, and that's Tango is probably the other thing that I did as an undergrad outside the school life. But tech does have housing system. It's like um, have had Slytherin and all the other school colleges, houses. Caltech has houses too. House has its own identity, its own politics, and its own characterization, uh, so to speak. And I belong to a house that's very value Christian values and uh, with nerdy talks and email exchanges at 2 a.m. in the morning. So quite involved with that. So I enjoyed quite a bit talking about nerdy things. Yeah.
All right, so I guess we can start with the Q&A session. So if anyone wants to add more questions in the chat, please do so that way we can have them answered by all our panelists right now. So I see that there are two questions that are quite similar. So I'll just tell them one after the other because that way, I mean, they're pretty much the same. So it is, any tips for starting research while at community college? And how did you find research as a community college student? So this is pretty much the same question. If anyone wants to answer, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, I can go ahead and get started. So I only ever did summer research internships. I never did year-round research, and my colleges didn't have like an honors program or anything like that. So everything for me, I found independently and applied for. But there's a lot of really great databases. So one is Pathways to Science, where they just like have tons of internships in there that you can apply for, and they even have like a specific filter for like community college students and stuff like that. But also asking around, your professors get emails, or like your counselor gets emails about like internships that are available all the time. And so ask them like, hey, I'm looking to do summer research. I want to apply to some internships. Can you send along any information that you get? And just as like a plug for you all, internship season for the biomedical sciences is like January, February. So you guys can like try to start applying now, and if you wanted to do something over the summer.
Thank you, Sarah. Anyone else wants to answer that question?
I just quickly want to say, if you're not in STEM, research can be like, you might be like, what am I supposed to research? But then you hear that like these are all research schools and you should be doing research. Honors is a great way. If you don't have honors, or like I'm mentoring someone who is international, not in the country right now, it was like difficult to get involved with honors. And he actually did his own research. So he kind of picked what he wanted. He found someone in the field willing to kind of work with him, and he's doing his own research. I think that's kind of a cool way to go about it too. Is like, if you can't find these things, make them for yourselves. Like if you can't find an extracurricular you like, start your own thing. That always works too. But if it is STEM, it's probably valuable to look into databases and kind of join what already exists. But if you ultimately can't, or you're in, I don't know, psychology or poli-sci or something like that, doing it kind of on your own is an option as well.
Thank you, Ariana. Anyone else? Michelle, Angelina, or Erin, on how to find a research?
So for I don't have a lot of research experience because I'm a business major. So it's more like doing internship, like networking with people. But Angelina, do you want to talk about how to get those research?
Yeah, I think so for the research opportunity, if you want to do it, you can always ask your professor, email professor to see if there any like research opportunity for you. So always ask.
Thank you. All right, Erin, do you care to share anything, or we can move on to the next question?
I didn't do any research. I was
Oh.
at community college.
I see. Thank you. All right. So we have one question, which is, for the recommendations, should two letters from different departments, like one in humanity and one in STEM, will make a difference, or it doesn't matter and I just find a professor that I am the most comfortable with? So if anyone wants to go ahead.
I can start us off again. So obviously, if the application says something like you need to have one from a STEM and one from a humanities, follow that. But my strategy, because it's usually more freeform for letter rec requirements, is I wanted to get different people who knew me in different settings to talk about a different aspect of myself. So I had my organic chemistry professor who could talk about, I'm great at chemistry and I am a rock star in the classroom. And that was like the element that he took. Then I had my research mentor talk about how I rock in the lab. And then the guided pathways, who only knew me in a professional setting and we didn't work on anything like academic related, talked about how I had teamwork skills and leadership skills. So I think it's super important to tailor your letters of rec to show all sides of you, just like you would your essays.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Anyone else?
Also, like if they have the optional letter of rec option, submit it. You want just all the good things out there.
That's real. Thank you.
I want to add something too. I would say always to find a professor that knows you really well so they know what to write on your recommendation letter than just focusing on what department that they required. Because if they don't really know a lot about you, it's so hard for them even to just tell them where do you want to transfer to what major because they don't know you in person. They don't know your personality, your path, your career goals, and everything. So I would recommend you to always build connection with your professor that the classes that you're taking, than to prepare for the recommendation letter.
Yeah, in addition to it, I think USC does not require any recommendation letter unless you want to do the recommendation. You have to find someone who knows you really well, so you will get you a higher chance to get admitted.
I see. Thank you. Erin, do you want to share anything?
Oh yeah, sure. I agree with what I agree with what Sarah said mostly, and I echo the points previously brought up by the people. I think the important thing is to let the school know who you are. And for me, my general principle is that I don't have many friends, but if I do want to invest in a friendship, I try to build it deep. So it's the same. I apply the same principle with professors. The two professors who I asked, who wrote my recommendation letters to Caltech, are know me really well. One of the professors actually was the proctor for the exam. He knew me very well. We often basically I have like, if I have questions, I will try to interact with him to make sure that he knows how hard I work, and also he knows like I'm very devoted to STEM. And I think also the other professor who's a Caltech alum, I actually worked for him as a TA, and I also excel at his matrix class, linear algebra class, and the calculus B class. So the grades matter, the interaction matter, and also when you communicate with professors, I think they can tell like if you're enthusiastic about some things, or if you're serious about your school, and if you have big ambition for the future. I think like these things, I don't think people can fake it. I really think if you put a lot of efforts or cultivate the relationship, make sure that people you think will recommend will write. So if you have someone in mind that you want him or her to write recommendation for you, recommendation letter for you, I think it's to start early, cultivating the relationship. Make sure that they know who you are, instead of just looking at their job titles, or their like, oh, they're the blah 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 has this title, that I for STEM at least. For STEM, I would say for STEM at least, bring the substance out through the recommendation letters. Cultivate the relationship with the recommendation letter writers. Yeah.
Thank you. For a follow-up with this, we have a lot of questions about recommendation letters. There is Grace who said, for letters, how to make letters be special for each campus. I asked my professors for letters and they kind of want me to send some key points I want them to talk about. Do you have any tips on how to work with your professors to make letters stronger?
I can jump in on this. I have a lot of opinions on letters of rec. It was something that I was very unfamiliar with when I started this process, and I was very scared of asking for them. So I have lots of thoughts. If your professors ask for like tips or things you want them to talk about, that's like a good sign, in my opinion. They're probably going to write you a good letter. So then that's your job then to sit back, look at your application, and think about what do you want them to specifically highlight. I mean, they're going to talk about more than what you asked them to, but they're trying to help you tailor for your application. So this is your time to be like, hey, this is something in my application that I maybe really want to highlight strongly or whatever. So maybe you want to really show that you are collaborative. So you want your professor to talk about how good you were at collaborating with other students, or that you took leadership roles even when it wasn't asked of you. So think about what you want that professor to highlight, and that's a really great thing. Then special for each campus, I didn't do that. My letters of recommenders just submitted the same letter to like 12 things. So there was no like, specifically writing Stanford or whatever in the letters. And then also when you're asking for letter of rec, ask for a strong letter of rec. Don't just ask for a letter of rec because you want them to write you a strong one.
Thank you, Sarah. Anyone else want to add anything onto this? If not, I will go on to the next question. Still about letters of recommendation.
I was just going to quickly say that like for any professor that you're asking, you're probably going to want to provide them with like basic info. I kind of feel a little differently. I feel like if they're asking you what you want in the letter, I even have people who have been like, oh, like the professional letter of rec I actually had to write it for the person. I don't know. Like, I think that as long, like, try and really ask people. I believe Erin said this before, but people who you really have a good relationship with, who, I mean, even if you're helping them because maybe you have just done so much or like it's been a while, that's okay. But like, if they're asking because they really don't know anything about you besides the fact that you were in their class, that might mean like, oh, maybe I should ask someone else. At least one of your 2 academic letters of rec, and you can always supplement. I have a friend at USC actually who's supplemented by having just a really strong professional letter of rec. So I think that is also a way to do it. So like if you feel like you're struggling in the academic realm because it's been a pandemic and you didn't really get to meet your professors, like move over to personal, like see who you could find for that, or move over to professional and see who you could find for that. Just like try to really get them to be sincere letters, and don't ever write your own letter of rec for yourself, please.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I just want to even reemphasize that Ariana said that. If you ask somebody for a letter of rec and they ask you to write the letter, you can decline and say, oh, thank you for your time and being willing to do this, but I think I'm going to try to find somebody else. Somebody asked me that, and I would have found a different letter writer. I think if they want to ask you for details that you want included to help your application, but not because they don't know you. And that's really important. You want strong letters of writers who are going to write really good letters for you because they know you well.
Thank you. Anyone else wants to add on to this? All right, we can move on to the next question then. We have something about scholarships. So I feel like those two kind of are similar. So do private schools provide scholarships to international students? And so any of your schools, if there is any scholarship available, because the next one is about USC as an international student and how to get scholarships. But I think it could apply for Stanford, Caltech, and USC. So if each person could answer that, that would be great. Thank you. If anyone will go ahead.
Start. So for USC international students, I guess for all university as well, international students are not qualified for financial aid, but you definitely have opportunity to apply for different scholarships. I guess it's just not as much as local students, the opportunity for scholarship for international students, but they do offer some kind of scholarship.
I do have a friend who applied and then she got like 9,000 scholarship for a year. So I think it's really good. And I think you private compared to a public school, private school is like more generous to like and to give generous to give you the scholarship.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else for your own school?
I don't believe that Stanford offers scholarships for international students. If you are a local student and your family makes under, I think it's 120K, you do qualify for need-based financial aid, but my understanding is that it's not the case for international students, but there are other ways to get scholarships that are just not from the school. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Yale might be a little bit like of these top tier schools, one of the ones that actually is more open to aid for international students, but I don't quote me on that, but it's worth looking into. And you can call any financial aid admissions at any school and you can ask them. There's nothing wrong with asking.
Thank you, Ariana.
Yeah, I have two things to add. I'm pretty sure for international students, they don't qualify for financial aid, but something that I didn't know at my community college until late into my community college route is that they had scholarship programs there, and they were small scholarships, like $1,000 or maybe $800, but those can make a difference. So apply for those, and they really are not applied for enough. So you put your essays in there and try to get scholarships there. And then the other thing I want to reemphasize is that Ariana said, you can totally call the admissions office and the financial aid office when you're applying. I think I called the Stanford office like 5 times with different questions about how to submit the college form and what's the address for this. There's people there ready to help you, and you are totally allowed to call and ask for questions.
Erin? Is there any-
I'm not an international student, so I can't speak of. I just simply don't know. But in terms of Caltech, I want to give a brief background. When I was at the school, there was a financial crisis. There's the financial market meltdown in 2009. Every school suffered more or less from that. And so now going back to financial aid. So my family is dirt poor, so I get full financial aid based need-based financial aid. And on top of that, there are several opportunities. First, there's the merit scholarship, which I received almost every year. Then, so for each year, like the top students get something along the line of $3,000 one academic year. And then there's also opportunity to be selected for to apply for like Senate scholarship. So there's a scholarship provided by the Congress called Goldwater Scholarship. I think you need the school's recommendation for that. I think I got recommended to apply for it, but I didn't get it. So there are opportunities for that. And in terms, and also I think when your grades, when the ranking, like for example, what I knew is that when my ranking was like 2 out of 300 students per year, I think I got various opportunities to get recommended for applying for certain scholarship outside the school. And the last thing is that if you ever want to apply for grad school scholarship, like Hertz Foundation Scholarship for graduate school, those like have school recommendation and have a good standing at school is important. Again, all the things I said apply to my time, which is about 10 years ago, and also only apply to STEM because Caltech is an engineering school. It doesn't have humanities. It doesn't have a like big humanity department. So I don't know much about fields outside STEM. So the information is only valid for my time and for STEM.
I see. Thank you, Erin. I see that someone put in the chat there is the Jack King Cook undergraduate Stanford Scholarship, which is about $40,000 per year, and it's open to non-US citizens as well. And apparently the applications are open at the moment. So if people in the in the attendance or considering applying for scholarships, maybe you should look at that too. Thank you for the person who actually added it in the chat. Okay, so we have one question, which I just lost for some reason.
I have one point want to add. So for the local students, USC is really generous, and for my financial, they cover up to like almost 90% of my tuition. So just like don't give up to apply USC because of your financial stress. Always apply and then to see the how much financial they give to you, and then you can always submit the petition to the financial center and to discuss about your financial aid.
I see. Thank you. That's definitely useful. I think with the pandemic, everyone is kind of in a different place and it's always complicated. And sometimes for international it is too, because you're not in your country. So money-wise, it's complicated. So that's definitely something we need to look at. Okay, thank you. So the next question is, both are kind of similar. It's about club activities and extracurriculars. So someone said, should I make my application? No, wait, wrong one. So basically, do your activities need to be related to your major? Because that person is in business and is very involved in graphic design. So do you think it has more value if it's related to your major or not? Yes, Sarah, go ahead.
Okay, I feel bad I keep on going first, but I think that it's super important to have activities outside of your major. Obviously, it's great to have like one or two things that relate to your major to show that, you know, you've looked into what it's like, you know what you want to do. But some of my favorite activities and some of the activities that were highlighted the most when I got to view my application were the ones that were not related to my major. So I would not worry about it. It's all about the narrative and the story that you tell with your activities. What did you learn about it? You know, how did it change you as a person? How did you grow? Why are you passionate about this activity? That's way more important than like, is this what your major is? Because also, like, full disclosure, I'm not even doing the major. I applied in to transfer, and they know that people switch majors all the time. So it's more about the passion and what you get out of it, more so than like, is this specifically related to your major, I think.
I see. Thank you, Sarah. Anyone else on that question?
I think also, like, if you are actively in graphic design, there's a reason that you're doing that. And that reason probably connects to a core purpose that also connects to why you're interested in business. And I think if you can identify that core reason, which plays into the passions that Sarah's talking about, you can let that kind of guide what you're doing. And that's also a way to prevent yourself from like joining honor societies just for the sake of joining honor societies and things like that. Like, it actually is good to diversify yourself. But of course, if the opportunity comes up and you're excited about doing it and it's related to your major, that is not going to hurt you. But it is a pandemic, and like, you take what you can get and you make the most of it. So I think really try not to overthink it and just really do what you enjoy, especially right now. I think everyone is like freaking out because it's pandemic time, but like, just do your thing. And it is going to be okay. And they know it's a pandemic also. I think that's important to be aware of as well for you guys specifically.
You're muted again.
Thank you. I cannot see anything. All right. Thank you so much, Ariana and Sarah, for your advices. Does Erin, Michelle, or Angelina want to add anything onto that? Or can we move on to the next question? We'll move on to the next question then. All right. So we have enough time for one last question. And I think I'm going to combine those together. So how do we know what classes to take for transfer? Do we just contact the admission counselors of each school and ask them? And then do you think the SAT or ACT is still required?
I can give my brief answer. I decided to apply to transfer at the last second, so I did not think about courses. But what I did do is I was working towards the like IGETC thing for UC Berkeley for my major, and that's what I did, and it was fine for Stanford. I didn't like specifically contact Stanford and talk to them about courses. Also, the thing that was mentioned way earlier, which is that private colleges are bougie about accepting your courses. So I don't want to stress about it like too much. Like your course might not even get accepted anyway. So like, to be real. But yeah, so I wouldn't worry about that. I don't know how the SAT and ACT are being handled in pandemic times, but I did submit my SAT score when I applied for transfer. I wouldn't stress about it too much. My SAT score was like quite low, but I had a strong GPA and I got in, so I wouldn't stress about it like too much.
Thank you, Sarah. Anyone else about this?
I didn't even take SAT or ACT. I don't have that score. I did not. I still don't have that score. So, but I actually I think I follow the UC system transfer requirement. Did 2 years, 2 years of courses following exactly what the website said I need to do to apply for UC Berkeley and the UCLA. That's what I did. Caltech is just something extra. If I get it, it's good. If not, I'm just gonna go to UC Berkeley. So really didn't think of much. Didn't think much of it. Just try to get to the best grades. Try to survive.
Makes sense. Yeah, make the most of it and do your best, and then you'll see where you end up.
I did take the SAT and ACT in my high school senior year, but the ACT and SAT only require if you have less than 30 unit credits. So if you take in like more than 30 units, the SAT and ACT is not required.
I want to add one point for international student who wants to transfer to USC. So they do require a TOEFL exam, but since I'm also Canadian, so I was waived for that exam. But for international student, maybe you want to take a look at the TOEFL.
Thank you. Yeah, the TOEFL, I know that they're still requiring it during pandemic, so definitely it's very important. Does anyone else want to add anything? Oh yeah, go ahead.
For the so if you want to check if the credit is transferable, there's a website. I will paste a link later, and you can check if it's like transferable. And also make sure to take the writing class, because there's a one writing class is really like way heavier in your application.
Okay, I see. Thank you. I also see that someone in the chat said that because of COVID, most schools are not considering SAT or ACT scores for admission, but you still can submit them if you have them and you feel like they're important, and you should make sure to check their websites for each schools. All right, does anyone else want to add anything?
I just quickly want to say that like Stanford specifically, and I'm pretty sure this is the case with other schools, if you look up like Stanford stats for transfers or whatever, you can find on the like official, don't go on like College Connection, that stuff is ridiculous, but like go on the Stanford site, yeah, right. And you can see the percentages, like you for ACT, you only need about a 30 or above. For SAT, it's very low. Like you can see what the averages have been. And if yours fits at that average or is higher, even though it's optional, if you are like, if you think it could help you, it's worth submitting.
Yeah, Romolo just mentioned in the chat that it's the common set data. So you can just look it up like Stanford University common set data 2019 to 2020. We'll probably do 2018 to 2019 because I think it takes a year or two to get updated, but the information's out there publicly.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone. So I see it's already 8 p.m. So our panel is coming to an end. Thank you so much, everyone. I would like to thank all of the panelists for taking some time in your busy schedules, and especially during a pandemic, to be here with us tonight. It was very enriching and certainly brought a lot of, informations and answers to many people, including myself. So I would like to thank you, everyone. And don't forget, for the attendees, our next series of panels in January, which will start with the University of Michigan, University of Virginia, and University of Washington, which will happen on Saturday, January 9th at 7:30 p.m. So thank you again, everyone, and have a good evening. Bye.